So, what is your view on India? Mr. Koktak referred to the fact that India is like a Bollywood movie, ups and downs, great ending. The problem is right now, I can't see the up, I can feel the down.
But he said it's a happy ending.
End is long, an end could be painful, an end could come after interval.
See, India is a tremendous pool of talent. I must say this, I'm not saying this with any nationalistic fervor. I personally don't identify with any kind of political nationalism. But as a culture, we are important in the world because we are a kaleidoscope. We have every kind of hue, we have every kind of shape and form, which is quite incredible. It's taken 10,000 years to create this chaos, which functions. Most people who are not used to India, they just can't figure how the hell this is functioning. But we know it'll work because here in this country, at least everybody thinks he's a genius. There is no ordinary person, everybody is an expert, not about the job that he is doing, about everything else. If you go and sit in the local tea shop, he will be advising, making commentary about how Tendulkar did not know a particular shot and how he should have done that, how he should have played that particular match and how he missed it. And he will be talking about how the Prime Minister should do this, this and this. He knows everything in the universe, but he does not know how to make good tea. He runs a tea shop, but he doesn't know how to make good tea, but he knows everything else in the universe. This looks like a big problem. At the same time, there is a phenomenal enterprise in this mind. He wants to venture into everything, at least mentally. You go to United States, the guy who is doing that work, he is doing that work reasonably well. He knows nothing else and he doesn't want to know anything else. He just wants to do that and nothing else but that. So this is a different kind of nation. This is something that one has to understand. This is a tremendous potential. It's a potential without limits. But one area where we have seriously failed in this country is, we have been very deficient in leadership. I think that is a hangover from colonial days, where the entire society was structured in such a way that no leader should arise. Our education systems were designed in such a way that leadership should not evolve out of that. The entire system was designed to produce employees, not to produce leaders. So we are still suffering from that because we did not revolutionize our education system so that we can produce leaders. So it is a fabulous pool of talent, but without the necessary leadership which can bring that movement. We're beginning to see that kind of leadership little bit happening, but still it needs traction down the line. In India, if a good leader comes up, people will worship that leader. A leader does not need worship. A leader needs traction down the line. He needs many layers of leadership who will be capable of implementing or executing the vision or the direction in which he wants to take a certain situation, whether it's business or the nation. We have lacked that because we have been an occupied nation for a little too long. So always we don't want to confront problems because in an occupied nation, if you see a problem, avoid it and go home. That's been our attitude for a long time. Leadership means you have to seek out problems where they are. Before they come, you want to confront them. Before they take birth, you want to fix them. So that is generally missing in the larger population, but this generation is looking at it differently because today almost everything that's run in this country are run by people who are born in free India, that they don't have this hangover of being afraid of confronting problems. But the hangover is still there, it's not everybody is free from that. We have to get the youth out of this. This generation has to really make an effort to come out of it. If we produce significant leaders, we will be one of the most significant nations on the planet, but in a very different way than any other nation has ever been. So we are sitting on this threshold right now. We can move this 600 and odd million people from one level of living to another in the next 10 to 15 years if we do the right things. Never before in the history of humanity has it ever happened that without force, without violence, this many people have been moved from one level of living to another. Never before such a thing has occurred. We are sitting on such a possibility. All of you, if you conduct your businesses sensibly, that's where we will go.
But is the definition of leadership changing? I mean, we've had military leaders, we've had elected leaders, now business leaders. Broadly, the whole approach and leadership is changing now, not only in India but around the world.
Yes, this is a changing situation an evolving situation that's happening internationally. If you look back and see, there was a time when religious leadership was the most influential leadership at one time. Then as the military machines became strong, the military leadership took on the most significant role. Then in the last 100 years, democratically elected leadership has come into power. I would say in the next 15 to 25 years, the business or the economic leaders will be the most significant leaders on the planet. But there is an issue with this. There is plus and minus to this. You would like to normally hear pluses first or minuses first?
Well, the good news first, I would say.
The financial market. The good thing about a business leader is, he is not predetermined. Two religious leaders cannot agree on anything for nuts. Military leaders should not agree because if they agree, they'll be out of their profession. Democratic leaders cannot agree for a variety of reasons. Even if they agree in private, in public they cannot agree. But a business leader is willing to make the deal with anybody if the deal is good. He is willing to deal with the devil if the deal is good. Or in other words, he is looking at life far more pragmatically than any other leadership in the past. But the problem is, he's got an albatross around his neck. That is, people see a business leader as self-centered. It's all about himself. He's trying to fulfill his personal ambition. He has no larger vision. This is a transition that business leadership needs to make from personal ambition to a larger vision, because businesses have grown to a size where many businesses are larger than many nations. Once this has happened and people are employing, hundreds of thousands of people, when such a thing is happening, it is important that business leadership moves from personal ambition to larger vision, that they must show that they're here to make a difference. This does not mean you don't make money, because the success of a nation is no more determined by the success of its military or its politics, but by the success of its businesses. So now that this has happened in the world, it is time that business leadership evolves and takes the tag of self-interest group and becomes a group of larger interest of the nation and the world. And the beauty about business is, at some point, if business thrives, national boundaries can be, largely obliterated. The need… See, if you have… once it happens like this, that people have invested around the world, you wouldn't want to bomb any part of the world because you have interests all over the place. So, in many ways, it could be a way of paving for a more peaceful existence on the planet, because business leadership is not interested in destroying, it's always interested in exploiting. And exploitation may not be a good thing by itself, but this exploitation has to transform itself into really making a difference, because it makes a difference anyway. If the economy thrives, because of successful businesses. Anyway, it makes a difference. It is just the image of the business leader has to be changed. This is very, very important. People have to trust a business leader. Right now, that is still not there. People think, oh, they're going to make money for themselves. This has to change. A larger population needs to understand the success of the businesses in the country are good for them. This has to be communicated properly.
Is that one of the reasons why Indians traditionally have invested in gold? They've always invested in property. I mean, we can claim the kind of entrepreneurs and business leaders we have, but somehow if I look at the average Indian, we don't back the enterprise here.
You are living in Mumbai and you were talking about financial instruments and all this, but I want you to understand at least 80% of Indians don't know a thing about these things. Really, including myself. They don't know a thing about these things. So, they don't want to put their money anywhere else. They want to put money into something that will be under their control, and you can't blame them for that. So, educating people that financial instruments are real things. They're not some con job that is being done, they're real things. But con jobs have happened in the past, so there is fear. And the little money, the little savings that they have, they don't want to entrust it to somebody else. They would… even if it doesn't grow, they want to keep it as a lump of gold or a piece of land, because they know they can keep it, they can live with it, and they can pass it on to their children. So this is an evolving situation. Till this generation in India, people have earned money mainly to pass it on to their children. Nobody thought they're going to blow it up. The richest people in this country always lived extremely simple lives, and the only intention was to pass it on. But now this generation is changing, they want to make money because they want to blow it up. They want to do things for themselves. So this is a new trend. Once this happens, now investing in financial instruments, investing in other areas apart from gold and land will become more commonplace. But you need to understand still 60–70% of people have no clue what this is.